Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 17 of Musings of a Guild Leader. My name is Senda, as it is every single week, and this week I'm going to talk about mission statements. I can see what you're thinking right now. Gee Sen, thanks a lot for tossing another random term in our face that vaguely has to do something with management, we guess, but we have no clue what it means, so thanks a lot for that. What are we supposed to do? Are you enjoying this? Yes, I am. Actually, I actually quite enjoy taking a random management related something term and tossing it out there and going like, wonder how people will react to this. And that's exactly what I'm going to do this week. I've thought up another random term for something that I'm doing. It has to do with management, but I'll get to that later on in the episode. First off, a few small updates. One, and this is a rather interesting one. Every single time I record the Musings, I tell you guys we're 4 out of 12, like I said last week. And then the day after the recordings, we down another boss. So we're now actually 5 out of 12. We actually down Valonia Terralion in the Bastion of Twilight. We downed those as well. And I have no doubt that once you guys are actually listening to this or looking at this, because, you know, we do this on YouTube, but we also do this on iTunes, that if you're looking at this or listening to this, that we've actually downed another boss. Quite possibly the first boss in the Throne of the Four Winds. But hey, you'll see that on our forums, I suppose, because I just record this stuff too early. Other news that's quite intriguing. A while ago, and I'm talking like nearly 4 episodes ago, I told you guys about how I'm slightly changing recruitment around to the fact that someone posts an application on the open section of our forums, we copy it to our internal forums so that more people can give their feedback without, you know, thoughts of, oh crap, they're all going to read what I'm going to write. This turned out to be, for want of a better term, a massive disappointment. The people that applied after we implemented that bit of, you know, ruling, basically, we got even less people posting their opinions. Apparently it's not at all clear what people are supposed to do now, and I can see this being down to 2 things. One, the system changes, and people as a group, people don't necessarily like change unless you take them by the hand and expertly tell them every single tiny little detail. Then they might just catch on after 5 times. And the other bit is it wasn't actually that big of a deal, and it was more of a fluke than an actual issue with how we deal with stuff. I'm sort of banking between the two. I think the recruitment issues we had was more of a fluke in the larger scheme of recruitment, and with fluke I mean the one issue where this actually led to people not posting their opinion was because of a very specific issue with one person who had, you know, various relationships with people in the guild, both good and bad, and people as a group sort of cringed in upon themselves and didn't want to post stuff. And also the fact that this is a decent system, it's worked in the past, we changed it, it turned out to not actually work, so we're changing it back. We're back to the old stuff, and what with the new applications that we've seen, it's actually working. So, and it's interesting to basically go back on something that you've decided to do and go like, yes, we were wrong, this stinks, let's go back to what we used to do. And I think that's an integral part of actually running a system or a company or whatever, that you look at stuff that you're implementing, see if it sucks or not, and then make sure you change it back as well if it does indeed turn out to be crap. So yes, interesting thoughts there. And now we're on to the big issue of this this episode, the mission statements that I opened up with. Something that I've actually just started doing just now, just this month, after the last guild meeting that we've had. After our last guild meeting, I basically established that if I want people to actually do stuff, and with people I mostly mean my officers and my veterans who actually are doing the stuff in the guild, and I'm just sitting there and keeping the overview over everything. If I want them to do stuff, I have to make specifically sure that I tell them exactly what I want them to do. I have to make a plan for them to follow. I have to lay it out for them in a nice and and easy to read post on the forums in the officer bit, telling the people in charge of the website, I want you to do this, this, and this, and the people in charge of the guild bank do this, this, and this. People in charge of raiding down this, this, and this by this month, etc., etc. I have to make a specific planning for the entire guild every single month. It sort of just came to me like that after the last meeting, because there was a lot of vague stuff in there. And after the meeting I sat down and I was thinking to myself, I have good feelings about this meeting because it was very positive and there wasn't drama and everything like last month. This was good and people are now, you know, eager to go once again do stuff and everything. But they're lacking a bit of focus. How do I give them that focus again? And I'm giving them that focus currently by providing them with a mission statement. It's very easy. It's simply me making a post saying I want you guys to do this, this, and this during this month. That's it. I'll leave the specific planning of I'm going to do it now, or I'm going to do it next week, or I'm going to do it the weekend. I'll leave that to the people who are actually in charge of the stuff, as long as I give them a list of things that they need to do by the end of the month. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm supposed to do. And at the end of the day, obviously, it's my responsibility to check that they're actually doing that stuff. But that's a whole different issue, and I'll talk about that next week. So yes, mission statements. I'm going to take an example just to show you guys out there how I approach these mission statements. And as an example, I'm going to take the website. Because we all know how raiding goes, we all know how achievement nights goes, because it's basically the same as raiding. We all know enough about recruitment and the guild bank. I've talked more than enough about that. And I've also actually talked quite a lot about the website. Actually, last episode as well, I did a lot about the website. Episode before that, I did a lot about the website as well. And yet, our forum is actually something that I've only dabbled in a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean actually quite still a bit. But hey, details. So yes, specifically mission statements for our forum. Interesting bit before I start out with that. During the meeting, something came to my attention, and this is something that I've been looking at before the meeting. But we've had a new addition to our ranks of veterans. I promoted someone, and this is someone is a Death Knight by the name of Mino, really cool guy who is actually quite adept at programming and handling forums and all sorts of stuff that handles with that. Mino came into our guild a few months ago. Actually, I think it was 2 months ago at max. It's actually quite recent. He came into the guild out of nowhere. Made an application, got accepted, and already during his trial period he was helping Sarah out with some of the coding issues that were going on with the forum. We wanted to be able to post links and to post YouTube videos and actually how to work out everything, but specifically the linkage issue and some of the coding bits, he's been helping out specifically on that. So Sarah's talking to me and she's like, you know, Mino is helping me out quite a bit here. And I was like, okay, well, do you want him to do even more? And she's like, well, yeah, I think so, because he's really helpful. And I like to have him as my assistant. So I just in the end said, okay, well, Mino, ding, there you go. Grats, you just made veteran. You are now Sarah's personal slave. And that's basically how this stuff goes in my guild. That's how I go around stuff. I have some officers who are in charge of the really important stuff, and I have veterans who are either two persons who should combined be one officer, but it just looks weird having that many officers, so that's why I keep the Fire and Minx a veteran. And then a whole bunch of veterans, which is basically the personal assistants of the guys who are actually officers, girls, sorry, who are officers, and the ex-officers who I still impart a great deal of faith and trust into, and I really just want to keep them in the loop, so to speak, to have their advice and counsel on the various issues that play out in the officer chat on the forums, basically, most of the time. Basically, Mino is now a veteran, and he is actually going over the forums, and Sarah and Mino combined get the following task for me. It's in the mission statement. It reads, I want you guys to go over every single announcement or sticky topic that we have and determine how valid they are. Do they actually deserve the sticky or the announcement? stuff, because there's quite a few stickies and announcements in some of the forums that we have, and it looks a bit cluttered. And I'm wondering, can we have this condensed into maybe 2 posts instead of 5? Is some stuff just simply in the wrong forum? Is everything as it should be? Basically re-evaluate the entire thing, and it's probably something that they're going to have to do on a monthly basis anyway, but seeing as how I'm starting with the mission statements now, this is a good time as any to roll right into the stuff. So yeah, that, and then I was looking at other stuff like make sure that every single guild is actually signed up to the new website. We still have a few people who are not signed up to our new awesome website, which sucks and is horrible, because some of those people actually eventually have to sign up for stuff, and then they couldn't because they don't have a forum account. They're missing out on all the information that's on there. So that's horrible. That needs to be fixed. So they make a list of all the people that actually have a forum account right now. They mirror this to our member log of all the people in our guild, and go like, well, these 15 people or whatever the number is still need an account. Now we know what to look for. And end of the day, I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing issues there and there and there. We need to fix this. So I'm presenting my officer cadre and my veterans, because they're part of this entire thing, presenting them with a mission statement. And the mission statement is what they need to do this month. And as Fired Up actually put it, which was very, very keen and very exactly as I want it to be, basically, without actually him knowing about it prior, but this is just Fired Up out of nowhere, coming with exactly the input and the thought behind it that I'm looking for, which is him reading it for the first time, coming to me and saying, wow, Sen, this is great, this is exactly what I'm looking for, because this is simply something I can go back to during the month to check that I'm on schedule, that I'm not missing anything. And I think it's great that you're doing this. And with that wonderful topic, I've reached the end of this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope the whole mission statement thing is a bit more clear. Next week I plan to talk about exactly how I make sure that people actually do what's in those mission statements. Because putting them up there is one thing, actually getting it implemented and helping people execute the stuff that you want them to do is a whole different ballgame. See you all next week.